Hello, my name is Landon Harrell. I am a consultant with Off-Prem Technology. I'm partnered with the SMU team here. And today I'm going to be covering a bit of a Marketing Cloud 101 and introduction to the platform, and kind of just show you around Marketing Cloud, get you familiar with the product itself, so that you'll be enabled in the future to utilize the platform for your own needs. So first off, just want to kind of discuss what even is Marketing Cloud. It's probably this nebulous thing that you've heard a good bit about, but just to kind of define it, the short answer is it's your new email platform. So it's where you will be sending out mass communications to audiences that you define. The longer answer here is that Marketing Cloud is Salesforce's digital marketing platform. Salesforce is a company that primarily creates CRM software. They also have their marketing software here that we're going to be going through today. And this lets us really kind of tackle communications in a multi-channel approach. So email, text messages, digital advertising, and doing this all within one platform itself. For here, we're primarily going to be focused on email. Now, Marketing Cloud is comprised of what are called studios and builders. Studios are where you're managing content and specific marketing channels. So you have a studio for email, a studio for mobile, a studio for advertising, etc. And you can take the actions for those channels directly within those platforms. For example, if you need to build and send out an email, you can do all of that within Email Studio itself. Builders kind of will prepare things for you to use across those different studios. So we have Audience Builder, for example, where you can go to manage your underlying data. You have Analytics Builder, where you could go to visualize the performance of your marketing activities within the platform. And then all of this is brought together in a cool tool called Journey Builder, which is kind of like the marquee feature of Marketing Cloud. And basically, we'll get into Journey Builder specifics a little bit later on, but Journey Builder is a way that you can kind of bring all of this together and create a communication journey that someone goes on. So sending multiple emails, checking to see did people open their emails, things like that. Before we get too deep, though, into Marketing Cloud, what I want to do is just define some basic Marketing Cloud terms. So again, Marketing Cloud itself, it's the platform. You will hear this referred to as Marketing Cloud, SFMC, Marketing Cloud Engagement. It kind of has a lot of names that you may hear used colloquially here and there. Marketing Cloud itself is a platform that is scalable. So whether you're just sending one email to one audience, or if you're sending, thousands of emails to hundreds of audiences, you have the capabilities of executing all of that within the platform. Marketing Cloud, though, kind of segments different parts of it with what are called business units. We typically have a parent business unit and then subsequent child business units. The parent business unit is really for creating and managing the account itself. So it's where a lot of your administrative settings live. It's where some of the things like automations and different model data extensions and things like that will live within the account. Most people are not going to have access to the model or to the parent business unit. They're not going to need to have access. You're not actually sending communications out of the parent business unit. Most of what you'll have access to is a single child business unit, or sometimes individual or multiple child business units. So business units are typically a way that we segment content and data. So some organizations may have a business unit for each college or unit, or some organizations may have a business unit for academics, a business unit for athletics, a business unit for development or advancement. It kind of makes it depends on how you organize your users and how you organize your data on how many business units you may have. Each business unit, though, is going to have its own MID. This is a Marketing Cloud member ID, is what it is short for, and this is a unique identifier for each business unit. So we're going to talk about We're going to talk about configuring and submitting support cases a little bit later on. If you do have questions about Marketing Cloud, your MID is going to be crucial for that so that they know exactly where you're working within the platform. Now, within Marketing Cloud, I'm going to introduce a new term here called data extensions. Data extensions, they're a Marketing Cloud specific term, but what they basically mean is a table of data. So you can think about this as like a database table. You can think about it as like an Excel spreadsheet. Data extensions are the list that you're going to be sending to at the end of the day. So when you go out to send an email and you're choosing your list that you're going to send of all the people that you want to receive that email, you're sending that email to a data extension. There are different types of data extensions. The two that we really want to talk about are filtered data extensions. These are ways that you can take kind of like a larger data extension and pick and choose the people that you want to end up in your kind of final filtered data extensions. So a lot of what you're sending to are not just data extensions, but specifically filtered data extensions. Filtered data extensions, though, we're typically filtering off of what is called a model data extension. A model data extension is something kind of proprietary to off-prem, but is set up in a lot of different accounts. You will likely interface with that model data extension in one form or another. But usually this model data extension is going to do things like holding all of your alumni or all of your alumni, faculty, staff, and students in one data extension. Then what we do is use the filtering capabilities in Marketing Cloud to create those smaller filtered data extensions that we actually send to at the end of the day. So if you want to find specifically people who graduated in the past 10 years and who have donated more than $100, you would have all of that data in your model data extension. You would add that criteria to a filter, and that would create your filtered data extension. I'll give you an example of what this looks like a little bit later on, but understanding that filtered data extensions typically come from model data extensions is the primary thing I'm trying to get across here. Next up is what's called a subscriber key. A subscriber key is the thing that uniquely identifies somebody in the system. So it's what tells Marketing Cloud that Landon Harrell here is Landon Harrell, because I can exist in multiple data extensions. You know, if I'm filtering a lot of things and I meet the criteria for all of them, I could exist in 10, 15, 20, 100 different data extensions. And the subscriber key is what ensures that Marketing Cloud knows who I am in all of those data extensions. This is specifically in the case of what we call our Alumni Relations Business Unit. This is specifically what's called the SMU Subscriber ID. There are different things that can be used for subscriber keys, but that's the one that we're going with for that specific business unit. And then I did mention journeys a little bit earlier. So Journey Builder, again, it's kind of the selling point typically of Marketing Cloud, and it's basically a way that allows you to design and automate different customer experiences at scale. So what you can really do with Journey Builder is to create a personalized communications experience for the contacts that go through that journey. So say, for example, you wanted to have an email that you're sending out, and then if people don't open that email, you want to send that email to them again. A journey is a great way to accomplish that. Couple different terms here, and then we'll get on to some of the fun show and tell is sender profiles. Sender profiles are basically how we're defining who the email is coming from when we send out a Marketing Cloud email. So it's the from name and the from email address. So for example, Landon Harrell would be the from name, and landon.harrell@offprem.tech, that would be the from email address. With our sender profiles, we can also designate who those replies will come back to. So when we send out an email and someone replies to that email, we can choose where that reply gets sent. Send classifications. You'll see there are two of them here below. We have what we call our commercial and our transactional send classification. These send classifications are basically a way to tell the system, is this like a marketing message, or is this something that is more transactional, a receipt, a confirmation, things like that. Because with our commercial classification, we need to have a way for people to unsubscribe from our messages. This will likely be the bulk of your messages that you send out. A Marketing Cloud will typically be commercial in nature. Transactional, I typically define this as an email that is sent in response to an action that a user took. So requesting a password reset, or making a donation online and receiving a receipt from that. or maybe they filled out a form and they're getting a confirmation that form was received. Those are typically things that are transactional in nature, and these are going to basically ignore any opt-outs, and it's not going to allow the individual to opt out of those messages. Enough, though, of all of the fun glossary terms. What does Marketing Cloud really look like? So I'm going to show you an example here of parts of the system, and then we're actually going to hop into Marketing Cloud itself. So this is from a screenshot of kind of like the demo account within Marketing Cloud. You'll see that we have things like journey templates up at the top that give you a really good starting point for your journeys. Up there, higher up in our primary navigation, that's where we see our different studios and builders: email studio, mobile studio, social, advertising, web, etc. And then we have our builders: analytics, journey builder, content builder, and audience builder. And so those are the different tools that you're going to be utilizing within Marketing Cloud. So you can think of Marketing Cloud as just kind of a collection of different little applications that you're doing different actions in. Now, for data extensions, this is what a data extension looks like. Don't get too overwhelmed by it. For the most part, you're going to be creating filtered data extensions, or somebody else will be creating the data extension for you. So, that training will be covered later on about how data extensions are created and built. But here's just generally how they look. So you'll see that this data extension here, it has 2,918 records in it. And you can see there the fields listed below. Those are all of the different pieces of data about those individuals that we have at our disposal. Here we're looking at specifically the properties tab. There's also a records tab and a tracking tab. Records is going to let you see the individuals within the data extension and the data associated with them. Tracking is going to basically show you people, their status. Are they active? Are they errored? Are they unsubscribed? So that you can kind of get a sense of how many people are actually going to receive your email at the end of the day. When it comes to building emails within Marketing Cloud, this is what Content Builder looks like. So you'll see that we have the different content blocks on the left-hand side there. We can click and drag those content blocks over into the email itself, and that's how we'll start to build out the email. From there, you can do things like playing around with spacing. You can edit the text associated with it. You can change how the text looks, the font size, the color. You have pretty much full control over the content itself within the email. Within the emails, we can also do things like adding in personalization to be able to pull in someone's first name, to be able to pull in maybe a program they're associated with, the year they graduated, things like that. We also have the opportunity to use things like dynamic content, where we can change what is shown in the email based on some data that we know. So maybe we want to change out the header image based on the school that they graduated from. We can use dynamic content for those types of purposes. When it comes time to actually send the email, this is what the send flow looks like. So this here is the last page of the send flow. It's really just a 4-step process. So it's defining your sender profile, your send classification. It's selecting your audience of who you want the email to go to, selecting that data extension, any exclusions there. It's configuring the delivery. What time do you want this email sent out? What day do you want it sent? What's happening with the tracking information? And then finally, the screen you see here, review and send. That's where you're going to be able to take a look at all the selections that you've made, make sure everything looks correct, and then you can schedule and or send your email from there. Next up is Journey Builder. This is what a journey looks like. So it's a little bit zoomed out here, so apologies for that. But Journey Builder itself is a way that you can, again, kind of orchestrate a communications experience. So you'll see here with this journey, we're sending a couple emails, adding a couple wait periods, using what are called decision splits to determine have people taken an action that we want them to. Doing things like Path Optimizer, where we're choosing the best content for our audience there. So journeys can be really powerful. They can be incredibly complex. They can also be very simple. If you just want a journey that sends two or three emails with a couple wait periods in between, you can do just that with Journey Builder. If you want a journey that's really complex, like the one here on the screen, you can do that as well. Journeys also allow you to iterate over time. So if you want to, create different versions of those and slowly build up your journey, you can do just that. So as you're on your journey with resources for Marketing Cloud itself, there's a couple that are linked here. This would be our Salesforce Trailhead. Salesforce Trailhead is a really great training resource to learn all about Marketing Cloud and about specific aspects of the tool. And then Salesforce help articles can be really good. These are where if you're looking specifically for the documentation on Salesforce itself, and you can find that in those help articles. Salesforce Success can be really helpful if you're trying to just get some support at the end of the day of, hey, this isn't working right, or I don't know how to do something. Success can be really beneficial there. Now, what I want to do next is kind of show you around a couple different features or a couple different locations where you can get some help. So first off is SMU's Office of Information Technology has their Marketing Cloud page here. This is where you can find things like documentation and training. You can find data dictionaries, look at the updates on the Marketing Cloud project, and of course, find ways to sign in and actually access Marketing Cloud itself. So a lot of really good resources here I encourage you to take a look at. All right, so next up, we're going to hop into Marketing Cloud. So this is Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So it looks very similar to the example I showed you earlier. This is specifically the SMU Marketing Cloud here. You'll see as I hover over the top, I get options for our different business units that are configured. So you may have access to one or more of these. You'll also see your own information up here at the top. So this is our admin user. You'll see your name up here at the top as well. If you do need support with Marketing Cloud, if you need to submit a case so that somebody at Salesforce can help you out with something, you can click on here, Salesforce Help and Training. That'll take you over to the help site where you can then submit a support case. You can utilize Agentforce here, which is going to help you kind of sift through documentation, help find answers for you. And if that doesn't solve your issue, then you can go through with actually submitting a case itself. Sometimes, so our support team or the Salesforce support team will ask you to provide account login access. You can do that by coming to your user up here, going to Cloud Preferences, and then clicking on Grant Account Login Access and choosing the specific amount of time that the support team can log in as your user. All right, for Marketing Cloud itself, we'll see that we have our studios up here. We have our builders right here. You may have access to some of these. You may have access to all of these. Just depending on your user and role setup is going to be the determining factor there. The majority of what you're going to be doing is within Email Studio. So we can just hover over that and click on Email. And this will take us into the Email Studio app within Marketing Cloud. You'll see things here like an overview of recently edited items. You'll see here any sends that have been recently sent out or any pending sends should you move over to that. Then you have things like Content Builder where you can actually build out your content. Subscribers here, which is where you manage your data extensions and lists that you're sending to. And then you also have your tracking tab where you can see the impact and the engagement with your communications itself. Journey Builder is going to live under Journey Builder, and then you would select Journey Builder here. This is where you can get over to that journey tool. It allows you to kind of create those high impact communication experiences. And you'll see that every time I hop into a new studio or builder that we get new tabs up here at the top. These are kind of like sub tabs within that specific app that allow you to see and do different things. So you can navigate through them up here, and then you can always come back to view the full navigation just by hovering over the home icon in the top left. For the majority of y'all, you will be spending your time within Email Studio, possibly Journey Builder, and possibly Analytics Builder. Some of y'all, may have access or may be utilizing other areas of the platform itself. Finally is I just want to mention what your homepage has here. Your homepage has things like these journey templates, which you may utilize, you may not utilize, but they're available for you. It has a content calendar down here, so any scheduled or sent emails will show up on this calendar. And it also has some resources down here as well. You can also see recently edited and recently sent emails, automations and journeys that are running. So there's a lot of information here on this overview screen. If you need additional assistance with Salesforce Marketing Cloud, submit a stable request by choosing Marketing Cloud, filling out the stable request form, selecting the type of assistance you're requesting, the date that you need the assistance by, and your request details themselves. Somebody will be in touch with you shortly. For assistance with Marketing Cloud, you can also contact the IT Help Desk at the information listed here on the screen. Thanks. Have a great one.